Hello again, humans. It is I, Jim the Ape. And I've been a very busy gorilla lately, so I haven't had as much time as I would like to make new videos. And the ideas for potential videos are starting to pile up. So I'm going to attempt to get some of these topics covered in as brief a time as I can, so you may see shorter videos on my channel in an effort to still produce content despite having a lot on my plate. Starting with this one. But before I get into this, I must officially announce that I have started a Patreon. It's patreon.com/JimTheApe. It'll add a couple additional characters onto the URL for some reason, but typing that into your web browser's search bar will get you there. I tried to come up with some creative rewards for a wide range of pledge amounts, but I might alter them later if I think of better ones. Either way, I will do my best to follow through on those rewards for anyone who pledges. Also, I'm not sure if Patreon has a system for one-time donations, so I might have to figure something else out for that. Perhaps I'll start linking my pet human's PayPal somewhere if it doesn't run the risk of causing him to be doxxed. Anyway, I wanted to finally make the Ape Answers video, answering the questions that were left in the comments section of my 100 subs video. On reflection, I'd say there were just enough questions to make a video, but not quite enough to make a lengthy one. So here are my answers to your questions. Samuel Diaz asks, why did you choose to make videos against social justice? Well, Samuel, my channel was initially going to be an atheist/skeptic channel dedicated to debunking religious arguments and explaining evolution to creationists who argue against it without actually understanding it. It was like I was a kid in school, picking on the lazy slacker who may have also been on the autism spectrum for not doing the work and learning things. But then, metaphorically speaking, I realized that there was an even worse student that I should have been standing up to, and that would be the class bully. I started to realize that feminism and social justice was that bully right around the time that Anita Sarkeesian started getting notoriety for calling video games sexist. It wasn't just her in particular. There was an entire subculture on the rise who wanted to censor art and patrol the behavior and speech of other people to push their agenda and basically turn the world into a collective hive mind. So I backed off the religious nuts and decided to go after the bigger threat to freedom. I hope that answers your question. Robbo5Life asks, have you ever had a response video to your videos by any feminists/morons? Not yet, though I occasionally YouTube search my name and scroll through the results to see if there are any. I'm curious myself as to what a detractor of mine would say, and if their criticisms would be valid ones that I could own up to and admit to getting something wrong, or if they would just be very stupid ideological ones that I could laugh at and perhaps even make a response-ception video about. But as of the recording of this video, the only real negative response to my videos that I'm aware of has been in the form of comment threads. One of whom was a MGTOW who was basically an admitted misogynist who said all women are cunts. The other was a delightfully hilarious potential troll who accused me of being a racist, which is why a huge chunk of my 100 subs video is me explaining the context of what I said. Not because she was offended, mind you. I said in that video that she probably would have been offended no matter how carefully I worded it, but I just wanted to clarify because I wasn't happy with how little explanation I gave, and I could even understand how, at first blush, it would seem that I had said a very offensive thing. By the way, I'll link that video in the description for those of you who haven't seen it. After all, the comments section of that video is where I'm getting these questions from. The rest of the questions were all asked by my fellow non-human primate, Crafty Ape. First, he asks, will us apes take over the world? Yes. We're mostly just waiting for a Planet of the Apes movie that we all agree is good. That last one came close, but there were still a few holdouts. Next, he asks, How instrumental do you think Gamergate was in forming this ever-evolving uprising of cultural libertarians, mischievous anti-SJW trolls, and generally common-sense rationalists, of which we are a part of? Well, considering it was a motivating factor for me, I have to say that it was very instrumental. I mean, there was clearly a problem with games journalism when so many articles were published almost simultaneously declaring gamers to be over or dead. It also didn't help that we heard about a game developer who may have been deliberately fraternizing with journalists in an attempt to get better press for her game than it deserved. But frankly, that's a secondary concern to me at best, because I don't much care about the personal lives of humans. But as an ape who plays video games, it would be nice to get the heads up when I'm reading a review for a game that I'm considering buying with my pet human's money that, oh, by the way, the person who wrote this review is friends with the developer, so they may have a positive bias towards it. Oh, and don't get me started on all the propaganda claiming that pro-Gamergaters were just misogynists who wanted to bully and harass women so that gaming could be a boys' club. There was even an episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit that I simply had to look up and watch just to laugh at the ridiculousness of it. The bottom line is, gaming is for people who already love video games, not whiny infantile attention seekers who cry about not being included in everything, and the content of games should be decided by the creators themselves, not by people who aren't even gamers threatening to boycott a game that they were never going to buy, whether they got their way or not. Finally, he asks, can you, Naked Ape, and Thinking Ape, and even Bewildered Ape form a secret alliance of apes called Ape Culture, where we discuss ways to subjugate and oppress the humans? Well, I'm definitely not against the idea in general. I'm basically up for a discussion with anyone. However, ape culture to me is the widespread misinformation that humans have about us apes. It includes humans thinking that we all throw our own feces like our inferior cousins, the monkeys. We all look alike despite having a wide variety of different characteristics between species. And humans who deny evolution on the basis of not wanting to be biologically related to us as if we're some kind of lesser being. That, to me, is ape culture. So maybe we could go with a different name. One that doesn't remind me of the constant oppression we face at the hands of the humanarchy. Also, I'm not sure if I would be in agreement with Stardust. I'm not terribly familiar with his work, but I think I remember him saying something that I vehemently disagreed with at one point. Though, I'm not sure about that because I don't even remember specifically what it was. Also, Bewildered would be a long shot because he aligned himself with Laughing Bitch and Jenny McDerp cunt in attacking Thunderfoot and trying to get him fired. I've derided him quite a few times on this channel for having done so, calling him a poor excuse for an ape who makes us all look bad. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I won't talk to these apes just because I might disagree with them. I'm just saying that if we do something, there might be some heated debates between fellow primates. So if you're okay with that, then let's do it. I'm game, but if that's not what you're looking for, I'd advise against it. So, I'll leave it up to you, ultimately. You can let me know what you think in the comments. And so can you, fellow primates! As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as they are much appreciated. If you didn't, feel free to give it a thumbs down, and I'll either try to do better next time, or just shrug it off and not care. Probably that second one. Of course, if you like my content, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you really like my content, you can support me on Patreon, like I said before. If I get enough money, I can spend more time making videos. Just saying. And if you'd prefer to support me with a one-time donation, let me know, and I'll try to figure something out for that as well. But that's gonna do it for this video. I'll catch you next time. Stay great, apes.